so no regret. Happy before we get another day to do it all again. Oh, we're throwing open all the curtains wide. Oh, not gonna miss a thing. Oh, nothing's promised to you in this life, but it's there for us to take. So live well, be bold, be brave. In the sun, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Hold it in the sun, all of the best yet to come. Hold it in the sun, don't know what you got till it's gone. Hold it in the sun, all of the best yet to come. We're throwing open all the curtains wide. Not gonna miss a thing. Nothing's promised to you in this life, but it's there for us to take. So live well, be bold, be brave.
Okay, here I am. Oh, no, I'm not. All right, here we go. What a day, what a day, what a day. Oh, my goodness. Here comes the yawns. Okay, well, it's 3:04 on October 14th, and it's a Tuesday. I'll be here tomorrow, but I will not be here Thursday. I have to go I have to go to Hutchinson. And then Friday morning, I'm going at 8:30. I'm going to the orthopedic doctor for my shoulder and get an MRI or CT scan or something that she's going to do on my arm. And then after that, I got to go to Hutchinson. So I won't be here Friday either. And cat got some hair on the back of my neck, or dirt on the back of my neck. So anyway, there's been some new stuff floating around about Sebastian Rogers. And I'm so thankful for the mob crew. Chris is a wonderful person. He does so much with technology. That man's a genius. He is a genius. So anyway, but the first thing I'm going to show you is from News Channel 5. And the link is in the description, but I'm going to put it up on my thing. Okay. And then I got to turn on us a little bit of music in the background. This one is called Ghosts of Liberty. Oh, that's the same one we did yesterday. Let's find a new one. This is Southern Call from Black Motorcycle. All right, or Black Motorcycle from Southern Call. Okay. Anyway, let's listen to the News Channel 5. This is an FBI issued update. It happened a month ago, but I didn't see it because it wasn't a big thing all over YouTube. I mean, I just found it today. I'm like, whoa.
Disappear without a trace. It is a question that has baffled the most seasoned of investigators for a year and a half. That's how long it's been since Sebastian Rogers vanished from his Hendersonville home. Nick Barris tells us in that time, the FBI has been able to disprove two theories.
So many have closely followed this case and continue to ask and hope for updates. The FBI just issued a full synopsis of where things stand today. Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his Hendersonville home on February 26, 2024. The 15-year-old with autism did not take any clothes, shoes, money, food, or his cell phone. His mother only reported a small yellow flashlight was missing. A massive search, including TBI and Sumner County Sheriff's investigators, covered a 4.5-mile radius around Sebastian's home. That's roughly 44,000 acres, and no sign of the teen.
This is the system that we use to track all of our searchers.
The FBI says agents have now followed through every one of the hundreds of tips. However, they have yet to produce any solid leads. Several months have indeed passed, but Sheriff Eric Craddock has said,
"It's not a cold case. It's an active and ongoing investigation."
The FBI...
Hold on.
Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
That's exactly what I feel about it. Sheriff Craddock is not treating this as an open case. He has put it in the back burner, forgot about it because he got some money in his pocket.
Now does disprove two theories. One involving security video, which I obtained early in the investigation, showing what appeared to be lights outside Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. Agents say the dark sky and camera angle combined had distorted the security footage, and lights were actually from a truck away from the home. They have all
right.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah. There's no way these are a truck. No way. They're too far apart. This is on one side of the ditch and this is on the other side of the ditch. There's a whole gazebo in between these guys. There's no way.
Also now debunked a theory that a person in a green hoodie spotted near Sebastian at a restaurant before he disappeared was in any way involved.
Here we go again.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah. I do not believe the green hoodie theory at all.
The Amber Alert for Sebastian does remain active, and the FBI is offering $50,000 for any information that leads to his whereabouts. They do encourage the public to continue to call in tips to 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Okay. I guess that's why this update, so to speak, did not go flooding all over the internet, because it is BS. It's 100% BS. I don't know if Nick Barris's job was threatened or what, if he didn't go in and put those redacted statements in there. I don't know. But I guarantee you, I can name 15 people if I wanted to name other content creators that will say that it's not a truck. It's not a trash truck. It's not a person's truck up on Honeysuckle. It's not anything except two separate entities, two separate light sources. I will put it that way. Two separate light sources moving. One is stationary, the other one is moving. Then the other one's moving towards this one, and then these two move off the screen, and then one of them starts back real fast. That's the only thing I know. Two separate light sources. And then there's a car sitting down there on the curve of the. Yeah. I do not. There's no way that was a truck. No way. Because first of all, if it was truck light, you'd have a long beam of light going from the source to the point where it was at. And there's no long beam of light. So, anyway. All right, now I can turn the music off, because with Mob Crew, he asks that people share his videos. So I give him credit in my description. And I'm not going to show his whole video. I'm just going to show the most important part, the reason he brings the video to us. And he does a lot of work. All right. Let me pull him up on screen so you can see. The next 3 videos are going to be Chris from Mob Crew. I wish I was 1/4 as smart as this man.
All right, welcome everybody. Let me pause that real quick. Give me just a second.
Amazon publishing isn't new, but this way of doing it is, and most writers still have no idea.
Fix the mic here. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. Let me get this over here.
This was,
Excuse me. Oh no.
this was 4 days ago. So, okay. This one was 4 days ago, and the next 2 are 3 days ago, I think. Let's look. See when this one. Oh, I'm sorry. This one streamed 2 days ago. Okay, so I got them backwards. Hold on. This one was 4 days ago. All right. I don't want to give you the information out of order. So yeah, this is the 4-day-old one.
Okay, so I think now Sebastian Rogers has been missing. I got to look it up. I think nearly almost 600 days. I think it's close. I think a little bit lower than that. Anybody in chat? I know I could probably just Google it, but it's almost like 600, somewhere around in there. I cannot believe it. How time flies. So today's video, or today's live, we're going to go over, I wouldn't say like a new theory, but kind of provide evidence to back up this theory as much as we can. Did he actually even make it home from the Texas Roadhouse? And there are a lot of clues, including the phone call with the PI, former PI Heather, with Chris and KK. Then we also have some rumors that I have heard before.
Let me put it out there before we get too far into this. If anybody has the video that was supposed to be Sebastian Rogers taking the trash out 15 minutes after they got home from Texas Roadhouse, can you send that to me or send it directly to Mob Crew? I'll give you my email address. And then I can send it to Mob Crew. All right. So if anybody has that or knows who does, or, you know, where I can find the link to that video, because I don't know where it's at. Lolly may have it. I'm not sure.
But don't know the validity of them, which is in the video allegedly. And let me know in chat if somebody knows where I could find maybe where maybe Seth had said something about this. Is that in where he's taking out the trash? Allegedly, this person was wearing a hoodie. I've heard that before, but not a lot. So I've never really talked about that, but it is an interesting, if that is true, does raise just more red flags to this case. If you've heard of that, let me know in chat. But we'll kind of go over what that rumor is and then kind of go over the theory that would kind of help support that as well. So let me just make sure the stream is going okay.
All right, say it plugs it in. Perfect. I need a tap to begin this.
All right. And huge shout out to my wonderful mods, Jennifer D, Sensei. God bless you guys. Melanie, thank you so much for the 6 months. You do good work, Chris. I appreciate the love and support from you and to everybody in the chat. God bless. All right, let's get into this. And yeah, just let me know in chat if you've heard about the alleged person taking out the trash can that they were wearing a hoodie. Because again, I've heard it once or twice, but I'll kind of go over where I've heard it from a source that I would say is fairly legit. Now, it doesn't come from Seth, but it could have. But I don't know if it's there. But so, of course, just a huge shout out to Silver's on the Scene, because this is something he talked about in a video that he posted about a month ago. So I'm kind of piggybacking off this video that he did, not this exact video, but I just want to give him a shout out, of course. Oh, Roxy says, yes, Seth mentioned it. He said the video was grainy to tell if it was Sebastian. Yeah, that part is true. But I wonder, is there a clip of Seth actually saying that that person was wearing a hoodie? Unless this was kind of talked about, off camera, but certain people have been told about that. Because I have heard that. And it's interesting because of what allegedly happened in that video, and we'll kind of go deeper into that as well.
So her producer, Rachel, at the time.
So let's
literally
start out with Chris's theory. Obviously, this was, I believe, October of last year with Sheila and Fred. I'm not going to play the whole interview. We've done that before, but let's just remind everybody what Chris's theory was, which, again, is the only time we ever hear him talk about a theory besides Sebastian just walking out, and how he's confident on the second scenario.
I'm only down to 2 scenarios here.
Okay.
and they what I feel probably the most reasonable in my head that makes sense. So the first one is very simple.
Okay.
Sebastian.
So just for context, this is Sheila and Fred, the Hatfield and McCoy Adventures YouTube channel. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Lovely couple. They've been out there independently searching, and then had this phone call. And I think the story is, if you guys don't know, this phone call was from last year. I think in October. Correct me if I'm wrong. They had it this whole time. And they just released it like a couple of months ago. Very fascinating stuff, because it's completely different from the narratives that we always hear from, when he's on other channels. But I guess I think they thought they had lost this interview that they recorded and then recently found it and then uploaded it. So keep in mind, this is I know it's last year. I think it was October-ish.
Got up, walked out of the house, walked out in the woods. He's out there somewhere, and we can't find him.
Okay.
That's the simple one.
That's
Right.
Sometimes simple is the way it is, but go ahead.
Now the second one, Sebastian walked out of the house. Either it was planned or he was lured out of the house, or something triggered him to leave out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you hear that? I'm going to back it up just a hair, because Chris says it was planned or he was lured out. I think he's giving us the information that everybody needs to know and everybody's looking for. But he's giving it as this is a theory.
Ago. Very fascinating stuff, because it's completely different from the narratives that we always hear from, when he's on other channels. But I guess I think they thought they had lost this interview that they recorded and then recently found it and then uploaded it. So keep in mind, this is I know it's last year. I think it was October-ish.
got up, walked out of the house, walked out in the woods. He's out there somewhere, and we can't find him.
Okay.
That's the simple one.
That's
Right.
Sometimes simple is the way it is, but go ahead.
Now the second one, Sebastian walked out of the house. Either it was planned or he was lured out of the house, or something triggered him to leave out of the house.
See? That's what I was talking about. It was planned. He was lured out. Something triggered him to leave that house. I think that right there is the most true statement that Chris Proudfoot has said to date. It may have been a year ago when he said it, and it may have only been uploaded a couple months ago because Hatfield and McCoy thought they had lost the footage. And then it resurfaced in their computer files and they uploaded it again. Or I think I heard a theory that they were not given permission to release it for a year or something. I don't know exactly how that worked out, but either way, it has been released now.
Mm-hmm.
And walked out of the house. I personally feel he got to Long Hole Pike, and he got picked up in a car, and they headed westbound on Long Hole Pike.
Wow.
And westbound goes to I-65. Now, there's a license plate reader on Long Hole Pike that goes, if you're traveling eastward, so if you're coming from Billetsville going toward Gallatin down Long Hole Pike, There's a license plate reader right there. And 76 cars from the hours of midnight to 6 a.m. were registered on that LPR.
LPR stands for license plate reader, which is right here at this intersection. This is the Beach High School, and this is kind of like, I don't know if major intersection, but a big intersection here that does have a license plate reader, and it does appear to be, it's facing east. I don't know if they have more set up, like another one. It doesn't look like it, but they could, and it's just kind of hard to see. But it's definitely apparent that they have, at the very least, one that's pointing east.
Hey, here's the truth about the Social Security Disability Program.
You can receive up to $3,600
on Long Hollow Pike. And of course, we've talked about this before, but it's very interesting that he knows about, 72 cars allegedly between midnight and 6 a.m. or something like that. I don't know how you'd get that information unless you got it from law enforcement, which tells me that they were definitely looking at that angle of him being abducted. Why else would you be looking at that kind of evidence?
Wow.
So,
yeah.
Let me pose this question. Was Chris Proudfoot's vehicle, was Chris Proudfoot's license plate one of them? Was Katie Proudfoot's license plate one of them? Was Mama Bowerfeet's license plate one of them? Was Brother Dan or Uncle Dan or whoever, was one of the family members' license plates one of them that went through during that time?
All of those cars have been accounted for. Now, what has not been accounted for is if you were traveling westbound, so if you were going from Gallatin to Goodlettsville, the one camera that could have picked anything up was not working. Hadn't been working for 3 years, and that's at.
And that would be the direction, if he was coming from Memphis, that would be the direction he'd be coming from. So, just coincidentally, the camera that's on the west side, further west on this other intersection, which I'll pull up Google Maps. So here's the one that we're talking about, east, but obviously Memphis is west, and I'm not sure if it's, I think it is, it might be, yeah, because he says Goodlettsville right here, so it might be a camera, which I'm sure there's probably some cameras up here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I'm sure we'd probably come across some cameras. That's a pretty major intersection there. But anyway, not to get sidetracked, but anyway, obviously that would be as he's coming into his city, that would be the way he'd be coming from. So coincidentally, that camera wasn't working. Kind of.
I think that Sebastian was taken to Gallatin and put in the rental house in Gallatin. Was his first stop after he left the P-Feet's home.
Interesting that he knows those facts, if that's true. Kind of scary.
Long Hollow Pike and New Shackle, right there at the corner by the school. Like as we all used to do as kids, where we just walk off in the woods and we just didn't care and walk our way back home. No, we used to go hiking.
Okay. All right. So. Oops. Okay. So before we get on to the main theory, which I'm just kind of allowing people to come in, and thank you to everybody. If you can, please hit that like button. You keep his name out there. Keep fighting for Sebastian Rogers. Never know. He could still be out there alive, possibly trafficked. So, of course, the FBI put out a statement. Everybody's covered this. I just want to touch on one thing. You know, I've already gone over how ridiculous they actually put in, you know, the reason why this rumor, you know, is flawed is because they they created an overlay of security footage in the daylight with the topographical map. That is absolutely ridiculous. When you clearly just released showing that you have the original footage, and all you'd have to do is just show a screenshot from the day, the morning of, or the morning before, or after, just a day shot, right? And that would shut everybody up if it was, you know, you couldn't see the yard, you know, this wasn't the Proudfoot's, you know, yard back here. But obviously, it's ridiculous. Then we got the green hoodie, which will I think the green hoodie is definitely in play for sure. We've kind of gone over how ridiculous different things. Then there's this. So before we get into the hoodie theory, I just wanted to point out something else that I discovered. I was thinking, you know, they'd have to go through this particular family, you know, would have to go through the footage. And unlike, you know, those other like homes that have the Ring cameras, which have like the motion activated recording events, you know, a lot of them have 24-hour surveillance, but they also have, whenever there's events, those are stored separately, you know, and usually it's a minute, or if it's really quick, it's 12 to 48 seconds. I forget all the exact minutia, but this camera obviously is.
My doorbell camera only shows 10 to 12 seconds, and you have to actually be on my porch. I mean, you can see all the way out into the middle of the road, and you can see the side of my driveway and down the stairs of my walkway towards my front yard. But the motion has to be on the front porch in order for it to activate. And I found out last week that with mine being a doorbell, it's not Ring. Ring is not the manufacturer of mine. But if you ring the doorbell, I was in Hutchinson last week, and some old man came up on my porch. CJ was home, but he didn't hear the doorbell because it was ringing on my phone where I was at in Hutchinson. And I didn't realize it, or I could have spoke to the man. But by the time I got to my phone and looked at that it was my doorbell camera, the guy had already walked off. So, yeah.
Just recording 24/7. So they would have to have gone through this footage, right, to actually find anything. And, you know, it would have, obviously, you know, running through 6 hours, that's a lot of time. And, you know, something like this only happens in a span of, you know, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, give or take. But I think, obviously, one of the big things is the motion light detector going off would definitely catch their attention. But I think even before they saw the flashlights, I think after they saw the motion sensor detected, they would have seen this right here, which is a car turning on its lights. We've shown this. We've explained. I mean, how else would this back of the truck light up simultaneously as we have lights, which appears to be a vehicle, and this is just illuminating part of the road, and that's part of the taillight. But it's kind of funny now if you think about it. The main thing that they probably were focused on originally, and I'm just speculating, would be the car, right? That's the biggest thing in this video.
Do you know the real reason behind memory lapses? Well, I suffered with dementia for 3 years until I discovered this magical honey trick. If you suffer from memory...
But the flashlights end up being the main narrative, where this is just as big, if not bigger, because you have this car acting super sus as it's pulling up, activating the motion light camera.
Okay, I'm going to step back just 1 second. Maybe that's too far. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video in just a second and show you something.
Video. But the flashlights end up being the main narrative, where this is just as...
Okay, right here. Mob Crew has even put a video out about this. You can go back and check it. Now, they're saying, and I can get it, okay, that right here does look like a female with a ponytail, and it looks like there's something being handed in between here, and it looks like a pretty hefty sized person right here. Okay, you have to realize that during the whole time that these lights are moving through the field, and this car light comes on and all this never changes. This is the two floodlights on the side of Proudfoot's garage, above their garage, and this is tree leaves. The type of tree that they have in their front yard is like I don't know, it looks like a magnolia or oak or something, but it keeps leaves on during the winter months. It doesn't shed all of its leaves. We've seen it in thousands of pictures and uploads of the Proudfoot home. But that is, in my theory, that is because this never moves. If this was people trying to transfer somebody from the house to someplace else, this would move out of the light, and that would become just one light source. It wouldn't be broke up like this. So it is, in my opinion, it's just leaves.
Big, if not bigger, because you have this car acting super sus as it's pulling up, activating the motion light camera, and then waiting for that motion camera to turn off, and then turning on its lights, and then causing the motion sensor to kick back on as it backs up. Pretty sus. So I think it's interesting that they would, it's always the three and flashlights, but, why don't they talk about the elephant in the room, which is this big giant thing that's illuminating in the middle of everything on the road. I do find that interesting. He says, Chris Proudfoot asked another YouTuber to go search for Sebastian. I told him not to go. I don't trust. Yeah, why? So, if I get a chance, Nadia, you bring up a great point. And I was listening to a guy that's, has expertise in search and rescue. And he kind of talked about some of the negatives about, having independent searchers come in. I mean, because obviously they might not be running the app, which tracks your GPS movement, and usually I'm trying to think of the name of it. I know it starts with a T. But yeah, you wouldn't, if they're not running their GPS and stuff, that's always helpful because then you store all that data into the main search grid. Just kind of like what we did with Aiden. Every time we go out there, we try. It's kind of hard with the Aiden Clune case because out there's not a lot of service. Although you can pre-download the map, and so it does work if you're if you remind yourself to pre-download an area that you're going to go into that doesn't have service, then it still will kind of give you a GPS.
There's also another app called Ride with GPS, and you can do motorcycle, bicycle, walking, hiking, swimming, whatever you can do. And you can download these for offline use. And especially if you have a Garmin watch, your watch, wherever your watch is, you don't have to hold your phone. It can be in your back pocket or whatever. Or your phone can be in your car, which I don't know why you'd want to leave your phone in your car. For one, your car could get broken into, and it could get stolen. Or number two, if you ran into trouble out there, you'd want to try to at least make an emergency call or something. So, but this Ride with GPS, you can actually turn it on and send somebody a text, and that person can watch where you go from their own phone without leaving their living room. And somebody will always know exactly where you're at.
But yeah, if you have independent searchers kind of coming in there, and let's say if you have somebody that's not as experienced with search and rescue, and
this is corn mint, citronella, and linseed oil, and it repels mice and rats using essential oils, not harsh chemicals.
Looking for items, maybe they come across a blanket, and of course they're just trying to do a good deed, but maybe they handle it without gloves, maybe not take the proper precautions, maybe come across, I don't think you didn't have a cell phone, but a shoe or something, and they handle it, not realizing that they could be contaminating evidence. So it's kind of a catch-22 there, where that's why it makes no sense why Crispy and Katie are not, at the very least, not them having at least somebody that they hired to conduct these searches. It blows my mind. But continuing on, and again, we're going to get to the hoodie thing and everything and the new theory. But let me show you something. I did find another clue. It's nothing big, but I did want to show this because, again, it just shows you just what you can do with a screenshot. Imagine if I or anybody else that's tenacious wants to find clues. Imagine if we actually had the video. But anyway, the original video, I mean. But something stuck out to me that I did want to kind of point out. Yeah, exactly, Marie. Right. And again, that's a catch-22. And I wish I had time to find that video of the guy talking about, kind of the issues with having these independent people come in. Of course, they're all coming in with great intentions. And I'm sure a lot of them, like I know Silvers, I know he, when he finds stuff, I think he does it proper. I'm sure he's, not picking up and handling things. I'm sure he's, trying to do it, trying not to contaminate whatever he may find. Bliss blessings. Sebastian deserves justice. Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much, Bliss, for the 7 months. God bless you. Rachel 508. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. God bless. Why can't I? Oh, there we go. Roxy, I hope you're feeling better. Blessings. Yeah, kind of had a rough weekend. I had a doctor's appointment on Tuesday, and then I had to go get a blood panel yesterday. So, and that was a nightmare. I won't get into that, but yeah. So it kind of bummed me out that I've been out for so long. Oh, me, justice for Sebastian. Good to see you. Thank you so much for the $20. And for those that watched my Daniel Robinson thing that we did last week, we are going to do another 2 more parts. Maybe hopefully by this weekend we'll do part 2. But within a week we'll definitely have part 2 out. And then we'll have a part 3 where maybe we can have some people come on. But I don't want to get too distracted on that. But yes, for the Daniel Robinson case, we are going to dive deeper and eventually get into some motives, which we part of the Dodge vehicle has been illuminated a little bit. And then we have a bunch of shadows because obviously we're looking at the other side. So obviously the light source is now being blocked due to the vehicle. So we can see a bit of the front. I'm sure if we were to go around the Dodge, we would see, more of the Dodge lit up. But there's this little piece right here that is very interesting, right in a perfect straight line. And so here's me putting a yellow line there, right below it. Yeah, the Challenger. I always say Challenger or Charger because I'm dyslexic and I'll flip them. So I just say.
My theory on this one is the light source is coming underneath the Dodge, and that's the edge of the sidewalk or driveway there. That's my theory on that light.
Dodge. But yes, this is. Oh, I'm sorry, jumping ahead here. And then we'll get into the theory. But I just wanted to show this, just another reason to debunk this nonsense about the point of view from the camera. So, if you notice, let's quickly, where... Oh, see more dates. There we go. Okay. So this kind of better depicts where at least the Dodge was sitting here. It wasn't quite exactly as far up. It was a little bit back. And the Dodge here was actually, because they had a different boat, and it was moved back just a little bit. So you can imagine there's a light source coming, but a lot of good part of the Dodge is kind of blocking it. But there's a little bit of light. And as you notice, look at the driveway. And then look at that there. Anybody now know what that is? What we're looking at? Notice how it's just a perfect line right here. And it's kind of got some grit to it. And I am 99% sure what that is. And then, of course, the Dodge, as you can see here, it's backed up. It's a little bit more over from than what we see in this shot from Google Earth. It's a little bit more to the right because obviously they have that other boat that's not as big. And then they have the other Dodge. And so that's backed over a little bit more. So anybody see what that is? So what that is, in my opinion, that is the concrete right at the edge. Because remember, you got a light source. Remember, this car is moved over a little bit and it's backed up. And we're seeing just enough of the concrete. And then keep in mind, because it's fall, as you can see, here's one where it's taken in February. Notice how this lip from the driveway here is a little bit raised up because the grass is obviously kind of more dead. It's winter time. And I believe what we're looking at is...
All right, don't try this at home. Hope I don't regret this. Okay, not gonna lie, that got a little crazy.
Just the very edge, because remember, the light is mostly being blocked by the Dodge, but there's a little bit of light, probably behind the trunk, that is coming through, and it is actually capturing just the edge of that concrete driveway. Now, obviously, the reason why I won't see any more of this is because the Dodge is obviously blocking the lighting. But we just have enough light source that comes over probably the back of the Camaro. Details from that camera and everything. This thing can go up to 100 degrees of field of view. So if you look at, and this is straight from fish sticks, if you look and you zoom in and you just see the absolute atrocities that he wants to point out, because he wants to clearly show that there's, again, this just shows that he's, in my opinion, he's working for Crispy and KK, and they want that narrative that, no, this isn't looking towards their backyard. And it's so stupid because as you zoom in, this is what he put out. I have the tweet, but I couldn't find it. It's just as absurd of what he explains in that. But he is basically saying, in a nutshell, that this is what the field of view is. Because if you think about it, he cuts like half the driveway, right? If we look at that, should have just had this zoomed in. But if you notice down here, he literally cuts half the driveway out. But we know, with that little bit of research that I did, again, it's not like huge mind-blowing. Good to see you, Jack. God bless everybody. I'll try to stop here and read some chat here in just a minute. But again, he put this out on Twitter saying, like, look, this is, presenting this as almost like facts. Not speculation like we try to do on this channel. We try to, clearly clarify that we're, we take some evidence and then we kind of break down theories from that. But, how absurd it is for him to claim that we're looking at half the driveway, but we can clearly see the edge of the driveway. I mean, look at where the Dodge is at. And then if you look at, we know the Dodge is right here. And if you put two and two together, now, obviously, remember, the truck and the boat is different, so it's backed up a little bit more, so the Camaro is a little bit shifted over, and what we're seeing is a piece of that concrete reflecting due to, it being February. The grass is obviously, it is an absolute lie. So keep in mind, that was something that they were told in the beginning, and they quoted that. That doesn't make it true. They're just quoting what they were told. This is a little bit before, Seth started, kind of putting things together that weren't adding up. They showed him the footage. Yeah. Daisy, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong on all that. Keep in mind, this is early days. And who's to say, okay, we know the flashlights and there's the vehicle on top of that. If anybody who doesn't know what the keychain flashlight looks like, this is it.
I'm a little nervous because I have no clue what's about to happen, but...
And I think this would be that perfect kind of supporting narrative that, oh, look, there's, a flashlight moving around at 3 a.m. But I emphasize that I think they screwed it up because there's clearly two people. So one of the videos, I'm hoping maybe tomorrow I get it out. It's just going to be a video. And this is the phone call that I talked about last time. This is with Heather Cohen, early days, and she's just there. Remember, she's hired by Seth, and she's contacted Chris and Katie. Chris does 99% of the talking, but Katie's in there in the background. And she's just trying to get the timeline, right? But it's like pulling teeth. There are a lot of little areas where, because clearly I think it originally came from Justin Custom Pearls. I have asked him if he could send me the original phone call. He said he had looked. I haven't heard back. I understand he's probably really busy. So it sounds like he was kind of playing something here. And so obviously, recording's not the best. And then of course, I could not find his original video. If anybody knows the video that he did that on, could send me the link. That'd be awesome. I know I got most of it, but I know there's a little bit more. But I really I've adjusted it and enhanced it, but there's still some more parts that I feel like I could enhance. So we'll go a little bit over this because this is going to lead into this theory about whether he made it home. Mama Bear, maybe Melissa was repeating, and some people think that maybe it was actually Katie that wrote that, but I'm not sure. Yes, and then, I forgot to mention that. Another thing, they mention a car, right? Thank you, Neuro, for mentioning that. I completely forgot. That is another thing. That she mentioned she's worried he got in the back seat of a car and fell asleep and woke up after someone got to their job and got out of the car. How in the hell would they not notice there's some kid sleeping in the back of the car? I'd say anything's possible, but come on. But I do think that's interesting. Here we are mentioning a vehicle. And then we have Chris with that interview in October mentioning, I think he got in a vehicle on Long Hollow Pike. Coincidence? I think not. Okay.
Most of my information from,
So I try to add subtitles. They are not 100% because, again, I'm working with somebody recording a phone call from this, and I couldn't find Justin's, so I had to find another person who's playing it, and I'm grateful for them doing that. But, you have Justin kind of, stopping and giving some of his thoughts, which, again, that's what I'd be doing, obviously. But I'm trying to cut all that out so it's just the phone call and then try to, because there's a lot of parts where, Katie's very soft and then Chris and Katie kind of get into it. Some interesting stuff. But there's a few things that they mentioned in this that we haven't talked about. And then, again, this is leading into, did he even make it home?
I know that, I know about y'all going to BJ's. I know about y'all going to Strike and Spare, and I know y'all picked up Melissa's daughter.
And say, well, hold on. See, this is where your information is wrong.
Okay.
I did not pick up Melissa's daughter.
First, let me correct you.
I thought that was on an interview. Didn't y'all say?
No, hold on. Let's change.
Ma'am.
I need you to change your words.
Okay,
well, that's why we're.
I am gonna upload this as a video. I would love, it'd be nice if I can fix this up enough and get subtitles the best I can. I won't be able to get everything because some things are hard, but it would be nice to get this video. Like I said, I've enhanced it, but there's a lot more to do, and it would be nice to, after I do that, upload it and then maybe ask if Deception Detective would be interested in giving his thoughts on that. That would be so cool.
Talking so we can clear things, figure things out.
Vetted, that has been proven, proof of life, all that bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
So we're not going to go over the whole phone call. We've kind of gone over that before. There are some spots where I'm because I've tweaked it a little bit since the last time. there's a lot more that I've got to tweak. But there are some interesting things in here.
Yeah.
This charger actually repairs your phone while charging, and everyone thinks it's too good to be true. Nobody believed me at first, but now everybody...
Now, they go to BJ's. They leave BJ's.
Sebastian and I with BJ's. Your sister's went their own way. I don't know.
Yeah, it's certainly possible, Sugar
They
Dude.
left BJ's.
Certainly.
It's just me and Bob at the bar together.
So you and Sebastian leave BJ's.
Okay, so, can because I don't have actual times.
Listen.
Can I get a timeline on that?
I don't remember the exact.
I'll give you an on or about.
How do you not know, like, maybe not the exact time, but how do you not know some of these approximate times? Especially, you're going to learn here in a second. They talk about Life 360. If you're not familiar with that, we'll just quickly touch on that a little bit. But again, this is going to lead into a side theory about him maybe not making it home, and then putting all the evidence that we have together. And it does kind of make sense.
Time, I can't give you an exact time.
So,
Used your Live 360 to give exact timestamps to the law enforcement.
So right there, she just said we used Life 360 to get all the timestamps and everything to law enforcement. So again, I would think that she probably had, at the very least, looked at this stuff, so she would have an idea of some of these timestamps, I would think. But keep the Life 360, and if you don't know what that is, we'll kind of explain that. But it's basically based off that neighborhood. Just about every other home has one or more cameras. As a matter of fact, a quote from Seth Rogers himself, the father, the biological father, said that there's more cameras in that neighborhood than they do in the jailhouse that he worked at. So just keep that in mind. And yet he's not seen on a single one of those. But yet the stink feet proud feet want to put this narrative out that he just wandered off. Yet they have not found any clothing, no signs of a on your phone. It's Life 360. And basically it tracks your GPS. And it'll even track like where you stopped, and on social media. I really appreciate you. God bless you.
Reflects on the Life 360 app or not.
Yeah, I can't imagine, what that would be like as a parent or guardian, to have to, have those extra responsibilities. So if you guys haven't seen it, I know most of you probably in here have, but there was something I caught, and now this kind of makes sense. And we're going to put this kind of theory all together, and hopefully, Sharon says, what's the point of the app if you can change it? It's nothing new, really. There's always something that comes out, and then there's always people looking to exploit it and, maybe even make money by introducing an app that's going to obviously manipulate the data or whatnot. So here we have the whole exchange with the green hoodie lady. And something that I caught, I think it was about 2 months ago, just kind of on accident, really. But remember, this green hoodie lady, we've learned more through At Night about where they talked to Texas Roadhouse and even said this wasn't a regular customer. And all this lady did was go to the women's restroom, didn't purchase anything, and walked right out. But of course, before she came in, she just happened to coincidentally be right by Katie's car and stood there for about a minute waiting for them to come out. The timing is super sus. And clearly Katie, instead of it looking like somebody's just trying to, get to Texas Roadhouse, from the street, and they're just walking between the cars because it's fairly narrow. And instead of Katie just standing there and kind of maybe waving her on to move through, she does not do that. She immediately goes to this green hoodie lady, which, in my opinion, shows that there's a good possibility she knows who this person is. So there's some kind of exchange, possibly. And then in my video, when I was really just trying to point out where that dash cam was, is when I saw Katie, and I would bet the farm on it, that here she goes down, she reaches down for something, and then bam, she is literally making that movement. It is clear as day, even though it's, the quality's not the best. But here you go. Here's kind of a zoomed in person. Look how she puts it in, and she turns her head, just like if anybody's putting in an earbud. Literally turns the head, and that is, in my opinion, her putting in some kind of either wireless or likely wired.
I know this is hard to hear, but it's important. The shooter who murdered my beautiful butterfly Dylan.
Headphone that is, in my opinion, could be connected to a cell phone that she was handed during this little exchange. Just in theory. But I think there's more to this than just a handoff. But in my opinion, we've done this before, and I think a lot of people agreed. I mean, that is definitely a motion of putting a headphone in your ear. One last time, she puts her seatbelt on.
Okay, this is getting kind of long, and I don't want to put a 3-hour video out here. So I'm going to go to the next video. This is also Mob Crew, and this was 3 days ago. So let's go on there and see what he had to say the next day.
We got a great live. Got some interesting information from a credible source. Now I'm going to say right off the bat that part of what we're going to talk about is still just rumor, right? But we're going to base that rumor, surround, the facts that we do have, and kind of build a theory. But the more and more I kind of look at the angle of him maybe not making it home from Texas Roadhouse, kind of grows by the day. I'd say I'm like 60-40, where I'm, a little more leaning towards, I don't think he made it home. I think something happened between Texas Roadhouse and him coming home. And so today's video's on that and some interesting info. Again, it's a rumor, but it comes from some credible sources that we'll talk about, that I do think, could be some validity to it. But yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. So, and as well, you guys are here yesterday. As you guys know, I've been playing that audio clip with the Heather speaking with the Stink Feet, KK, and Crispy, just asking for the timeline. She's working for Seth, and, she calls up the Stink Feet and just tries to, get their side of the story, right, and get the timeline. But you can tell it's like pulling teeth. Now, I believe Justin Clashampearls, shout out to him. I believe he's the first one, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he's the first one to play it. Although his audio, I don't know if he was playing it from a phone or something. The audio is kind of hard to hear. And then, of course, I can't find the original video. But luckily, someone sent me another video from Josh from the lab, and he played that whole entire thing. And the audio is so much better, except he towards the end, he adds in some...
Should these glasses be illegal in the U.S.? Nobody believed me at first, but now everybody wants a pair. My friends.
Some sound effects and stuff, which I have to try to delete and kind of work. It is some stuff he does in that. It is funny, but as a person who has to edit, and welcome to my wonderful members and patrons and everybody in here taking the time out of their Friday weekend to spend time with us. Marissa says, bring Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers home. We think of you every single day, sweet boy. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Marissa. Yes. Keep his name out there. Of course, we'll be covering some other cases as well. Daniel Robinson, we're going to be doing a part 2 on that. And then, of course, Jack and Lily Sullivan. I've been kind of keeping my eye on that. And we'll probably do a live, if not this weekend, definitely next week to kind of, update. Alicia says, I emailed you the link with the info. Please check it out. I really want to know. Oh, okay, about what you were talking about. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's always good to look at every angle. So, all right, let's get to it.
Look at this motherfucker, y'all. Can you see him?
Yep. So there's Pigfest going on right there.
my God.
A stepfather who has a,
I'm so
what he
irritated
claims
right
a
now.
son
I really thought I
missing,
was
but
Show me your...
he's dressing up for Halloween, a month early.
My name's Deputy Samael. I'm with the Special Police Department from the hashtag FUBJ.
Show me your thing.
That's how serious he takes, a missing child.
Super soaker.
They were not. For some reason.
And of course, we got lovely Sheila and Fred out there. These people like Sheila and Fred, and of course, Silver's on the scene out there, spending their gas money, hotels, whatever, to go and search for this poor child. Truly shout out to all those. Of course, I'm sure there's a bunch of others as well. Just checking chat, make sure everything's good. Okay. Yeah, it is. It's disgusting. It really is. It's truly heartbreaking. Okay, so let's see. All right. So, for anybody that doesn't know what I'm about to play, this is just a bit of clips because obviously I'm working on the entire phone call. I'm trying to increase it, make the audio better in certain parts. And then, of course, since the audio is much better, there's parts towards the end where Josh adds in, and you'll hear it here in a bit, where he adds in some sound effects and stuff. And although it's funny, I have to edit that out, so it's going to be a pain in the ass. But anyway, the context is this is, and I don't know, Florida, maybe you might know, maybe around the approximate date. I mean, I'm assuming this is probably in the first 2 months of him going missing, maybe within the first month, where Seth had hired a PI, Heather Cohen, and this phone call was recorded, and she's just basically, getting the stink feet's side of their story, the timeline, right? But if you've heard it before, it is, sorry, I was reading something. It's my ADD. I start reading something. I got, distracted. But yeah, Chloe, speaking, just trying to get the timeline, but it's like pulling teeth. So here's some highlights. And this will lead into, the main part, if you saw the thumbnail, about the 6 minutes. We'll talk about that here in a bit. But I see a pattern. This is why I would love Deception Detective to break this interview down, because when you kind of look at it from either way, even if you think he made it home, which again I could go both ways, for sure. But you can see where they're always trying to mention proof of life. You could almost make it into a drinking game if I had the whole thing.
Have you heard about Ryoko Pro? This is the cutting-edge portable Wi-Fi hotspot that people wish they found out about.
Oh, yeah. You know what? By the time I probably get it, I'll probably have it done. I do appreciate that, Marissa. But I'm like halfway through the phone call, so it would be nice, but it's not a.
And Sebastian went to BJ's.
Either way, I'd still have to clean up some of the stuff. Mainly Katie, because Katie is obviously not the one directly on the phone. She's in the background, and that's who I try to, up the volume, and you'll hear it here. And so this is from Josh. You'll notice if you listen from yesterday, and I do have a little bit of parts from Justin's where you can tell a huge difference.
Right.
Prior to going to BJ's?
So here, they're just obviously going over the timeline of February 25th, where they go to BJ's, with family. Then they kind of split up. They drop off the groceries. So there's them just kind of talk about this. Again, this is cut up. This isn't a whole thing. Again, I will release that hopefully maybe by tomorrow, at least for the members and patrons.
After picking up our niece.
I said prior to going to BJ's.
But oh my God, you can hear them fighting so much better in this because you can hear Katie a lot better, and it's just crazy how much you could just only imagine what goes on when they're not being interviewed.
Which was not Melissa.
They went and picked up a niece. That name is not going to be disclosed because it has been through business. And I promise you don't want to go to that house.
That child is going through enough with this mess. But no, it was not Melissa's daughter that I picked up.
Okay. Yes.
What you do?
Yeah, not to jump ahead, but yes, I think that's a great, and I'll be honest, that really kind of came from Silver's, and I love that. Again, because you would have to get definitely his shirt and shoes back there. So I think that's definitely a great scenario. It puts it all together, in this,
Need to know is
BJ's.
All you need to know is that two sisters, Katie, Sebastian, and children went to BJ's. That is on a video footage.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Law enforcement can confirm that.
Right.
So I put up proof of life. I didn't get to do it because I was working. I was working really hard on multiple things, but you'll see proof of life pop up because you'll notice a trend. And again, this is even the entire audio. This is literally like 30% of it, maybe 40. But you'll notice that they're always, especially they get towards Texas Roadhouse, proof of life.
She needs to be picked up.
Names don't need to be extracted, don't need to be out.
Yeah, I mean, minors' names don't need to be thrown out anyway.
Exactly.
No,
Sister doesn't need any more harassment either.
Yeah, I haven't said anything about Melissa at all.
No,
I haven't even mentioned her.
Let me know if that's too loud. I can turn it down. Sorry, because again, I fixed it. So I did turn it down just a little bit, but let me know how it sounds in chat.
Well, Melissa,
his other sister.
Once again, my two sisters, Melissa and Cassie, were there. That's on video footage.
Yeah.
That has all been vetted. That has been proven. Proof of life, all that bullshit. Everything.
Right. Yeah.
From word to beginning has been told.
Yeah.
There at all.
Now, they go to BJ's. They leave BJ's.
Sebastian and I leave BJ's. Your sisters went their own way. I don't know.
I know.
Thank you, Canadian.
They left
Everybody. It's good to see you.
I did not insinuate a name. I didn't say who.
And it was just me and Bubba that left together.
I got a question. Back in the early days, somebody put a post. It was in almost everybody's videos at the beginning. Somebody had put a post on Facebook that after Katie picked up the niece, Katie and Sebastian and the niece went to her friend's house at her friend's apartment. And her friend was confirming that she had seen Sebastian alive that day. Why is that not in any of the timelines? Why did that friend just up and put it in there put it out there on Facebook saying this happened if that's not in any of the timelines? I'm just curious. Did they actually go to the friend's house and the friend see Sebastian and the niece that day? I don't know.
So you and Sebastian leave BJ's.
So
used my Live 360 to give exact timestamps to the law enforcement.
It was before.
So right there again, she mentions we got timestamps, and she mentions the Life 360, which is an app for those that aren't familiar. Works with Apple products, I believe. I don't know if it's Android as well, or if they've got a different. I'm sure they have tons of different offshoots of them, but Life 360, it's app on the phone. It connect to your car, your Apple Watch.
Yes.
Okay.
Law enforcement has the literal, to the second.
We have been told we are not to give out exact times. And that came directly from law enforcement.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
That was debunked. Law enforcement did not tell them that, and Seth actually said that they didn't tell them that. Law enforcement says you can, but we recommend you don't.
We're not breaking that.
But like I said, they literally used my 360 and
they got the timestamps.
There it is. Again, she mentions that right again. Proof of life 360. And there's some interesting little tidbits that she mentions in here that I can hear so much better from this version, thanks to Josh. I still love Justin as well, but this version obviously it's fed through. It's the original thing, and it's you can clearly hear it so much better, and really you can hear Katie, because in Justin's version, Katie's really kind of muffled about 50% of the time. Joe South Oz says, love being here. Thank you for your endless hard work, Chris. Thank you so much. God bless you. I appreciate the support. So let's continue on. And here's just a look at what the dash cam would be like. Because remember, she has, a dash cam, which also has audio. I've been in a couple of vehicles that have them. You've just put it up somewhere in your passenger side, window up, right, middle, whatever, and it records. And then you can have one that also has, because obviously it's inside the car, you can have the audio going as well. So it's basically just a cam, a ring cam, whatever, just attached to your vehicle.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
And usually, I think a lot of people get these if they're like Uber drivers, people who drive long distances, and then obviously, especially Uber drivers, they have cameras that are pointing inside the car, for their safety. And anyway, insurances.
Route I took, they knew how fast I went. They knew if I did any stops, which I didn't.
That right there is so interesting. Let me play that one more time. Notice how she goes out of her way to mention
how fast I went. They knew if I did any stops, which I didn't.
But technically, what is a stop? Technically, you stopped at a bunch of different places. But I think that's interesting that she kind of goes out of her way to have to mention, hey, I didn't stop anywhere. I don't know.
They know, they literally know every detail because we have upgraded 360. So they literally, and I have a thing in my car with a camera.
She doesn't just have Life 360. She has the upgraded version. All right. And here in the background is a video of just one. If you look up Life 360 hack, you pull up 1,000+ videos of many different ways and programs where you can literally alter, and they can and they show it real time. Hey, I'm in my apartment, but right now it shows I'm showing that Anybody that's looking at my Life 360, it shows me, 2 miles away at the temple or whatever. So it clearly can be hacked, and we know how smart Katie is.
Yeah, the dash cam.
It's not a dash cam.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where everybody's wrong.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell people what it is, but all they need to
Sort of
know
kind of this way.
is in this vehicle, there was something that recorded a video and audio.
But law enforcement had multiple sources to confirm every move I made that day with Bubba.
Okay.
Up to and including voice and video.
Voice and video.
Okay.
We went home after BJ's for a little while.
And unloaded the groceries.
Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot, but yeah.
And after they were at the house, they wound up eventually leaving there, and they go to Strike and Sperry.
Because we were going to go bowling.
Because the plan was to go bowling, but because there was a bowling tournament going on,
Yeah.
they didn't get to bowl. They had to play video games.
There was too long.
And again, if Katie's available, I'm sure Josh and everybody that's examined this has mentioned this. If Katie's right there, she's not busy doing something, why in the hell is Crispy doing the talking? Right? Where she has to kind of fill in stuff, because she was the one that was actually there. Chris is in Memphis, 3 hours away, allegedly. It just blows my mind. And then, of course, if, say they're guilty, it would make sense for Crispy to be the one that's, talking about the timeline because, plausible deniability.
On the wait list, and it was a school night, so I promised to take him bowling another day, and instead we played video
But the school night, it was Sunday night, weekend night going into the school.
You played in the arcade for a while
All
because
that's been vetted by video.
yeah.
They watched our every move the whole time we were there.
Nobody spoke to Sebastian as far as any adult. They can't see anywhere in the videos that they were followed.
So keep this in mind. Listen to what Crispy says right here. It's very interesting because I love how Heather is going to throw a wrench in this. And it just shows how much Crispy lies. We know he's a habitual liar, right? He brings the proof, right? He brings the proof, but he's a habitual liar. I'm sorry. Not really. But listen to what he says about the bowling alley and the footage, right? And then Heather's gonna drop a wrench in this. Whitney Mason, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting this channel. God bless. Let me just quickly shout out Black Witter. Good to see you, sweetheart. Thank you for the 25 months. That's so awesome. Over 2 years of support. Huge supporter. God bless. South Oz with 8 months. That's so awesome. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. All right. I am reading the comments as I go on, but here we go. Here's Crispy talking about the footage at the bowling alley.
For a while
All
because
that's been vetted by video.
yeah.
They watched our every move the whole time we were there.
Where is that video? Who has the video of them at the bowling alley? I haven't seen it. Have you? If anybody's seen the video of the bowling alley, let me know the link of who has it. Please.
Nobody spoke to Sebastian as far as any adult. They can't see anywhere in the videos that they were followed.
Yeah.
So if that is something that you're going to speculate on, it has been eliminated.
Yeah, I did talk to them about that and they said that the cameras were shit.
I love that. So apparently, according to Crispy, you can, it's clear as day and you can see everything that's going on. There's no suspicious activity, but then, she says, which has been, until we actually see it, but I've heard it multiple times, yeah, that, and that kind of makes sense. If it's an older establishment, it probably doesn't have the most upgraded surveillance cameras. So I love how she kind of throws that in there. And I think they kind of then, changed their tune and they kind of switched to something else because, that kind of contradicts, we can see everything that's going on, but yet, it's apparently this camera is shit.
That they were followed. Well, that is something that you're going to speculate on.
Some moms want to build income from home. They just don't want to post, pitch, or be online all the time. That's
It has been eliminated.
Yeah, I did talk to them about that, and they said that the cameras were shit. That they weren't really able to see a whole lot of anything at the strike and spare.
Strike and spare's kind of getting up there in age.
Notice now Katie comes in. Yeah, the strike and spare, it's kind of an older establishment. It's kind of, I think that's hilarious. Yeah, so funny. Completely contradicts what just Crispy just said right there. Makes me wonder if they ever saw any of that footage, or was just showing a few things. But I mean, I'm sure Katie at the very least had seen stuff. Considering, they're going to try to look at all possibilities. This comment, yes, we will talk about it, Lynn, about how it all combines. Because again, as you know, I am a big proponent that the 3 a.m. lights are them and the suspicious cars involved. We'll put it all together if you weren't here yesterday. But yeah, we'll put it all together. As a, like a scenario A and a scenario B type thing. Man, almost 400 votes. Wow, interesting. I thought it would be a little bit closer, but at least half of you think no, he did not make it home. And then 32% not sure, and then 21% yes. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that scenario. But all right, so Heather comes in with a wrench saying, yeah, that bowling alley had shitty footage, which is hilarious.
But they went all the way back to BJ's, all that fun jazz.
But we went straight from Strike and Spare to
Texas Roadhouse.
And they confirmed again the video there. They even showed Seth a clip of it after his little "I haven't seen proof of life" comment, even though he had.
Yeah.
Which did he tell you about that?
About what?
That his little comment, he hadn't seen proof of life since Friday or
Insinuating that
Thursday or Friday when I last saw or heard from my son.
Yeah, I'd heard about that comment.
Texas Roadhouse. They showed when they walked out of Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Okay, when Seth made the comment that he had not seen proof of life of Sebastian since he talked to him the Thursday night prior to this, that was days before this video came out. I believe part of the reason this video was put out was to show Seth proof of life the night prior to Sebastian going missing. That's what I think totally. It's put out for Seth's benefit. And then everybody on YouTube streets started breaking it apart frame by frame and trying to say, I've even heard rumors that Yellow Jacket guy was sitting at a bar in the background of the video. And I was sitting there while Chris had it stalled here, and I was looking for Yellow Jacket guy. I didn't see him. I saw somebody that I thought might have been green hoodie person, only had taken the jacket off and was carrying it. But I'm not going to say that that's who that was because I don't know for a fact.
He has seen a video of Sebastian at the fucking house Sunday night taking the fucking trash out.
Right.
From inside my car.
And of course, there she says, yeah, he's taking the trash out, effing trash out. And she says, yeah, there's, I know at the very least she says audio in my car, but she does have video and audio. Now, I'm assuming she's referring to clearly she's referring to the drive back, but that's where we're going to get into this 6 minutes. And again, when we start talking about this is just a rumor, but it does come from a source that I would say credible. But again, we're going to put that rumor and kind of put a theory together based on the evidence that we do know. And I do think it's a pretty legit scenario. And it just the green hoodie lady, it puts her back into play. We know At Night released a bunch of stuff about 2 months ago, give or take, where they basically said, it was right after the FBI, I think it was just right after the FBI statement came out or around that time, and basically said, look, like, they tried to make it seem like the green hoodie this lady was like a regular, but then when they spoke to the Texas Roadhouse people, they said no, they had no idea who this person was. It was not a patron. All they did was come in, use the restroom, and leave. They didn't buy anything, and they were concerned and thought it was suspicious. And they did want to help. They were concerned because they knew about Sebastian. And then, you have, was it Sumner County or TBI? I can't remember which one. Both corrupt in my opinion, but, when that all comes out, video comes out last year, November, December-ish or something like that, from Dog the Bounty Hunter's team, blows up with the green hoodie, and then we get a statement December 13th, I remember it was a Friday, claiming, yeah, we just tracked down that person and we cleared them. Which, again, if that was true, just saying, that is absolutely atrocious that they had no idea that there was a suspicious person walking up to a mother's, to Katie's car the night before Sebastian disappeared. I mean, that is atrocious. I don't believe it. There's no way in hell. And the fact that they allegedly tracked this person down in like 3 to 4 days or something like that. Not saying they couldn't, but I mean, I don't know.
If you are sleeping in a position like this, you are wrecking your body and your breathing. Chronic neck pain happens when you're...
Now,
no, boy.
They could track that person down in 3 to 5 days if they asked Katie who that person was, and Katie gave them the person's name. But then right after they said that they debunked that person and said they knew who it was and it wasn't them, supposedly one of Chris's sisters passed away, and they tried to say that that was green hoodie person. So now I don't know where the truth is, but I don't believe it's there at the green hoodie person being Chris's sister. And I don't believe that they tracked them down. I'm with Chris on that one. I don't believe they tracked her down that fast.
Bueno. Okay. So we got more of the interview, but I want to start now going into the 6-minute thing. And again, this is just a rumor, right? Sorry, I got to take a sip. Yes, Seth. And what's funny is I'm going to play something a little bit later that adds into the FBI statement that they released. And I think it's hilarious about something. I mean, it's not hilarious, but very interesting about what they may or may not have said, which is like, this is interesting. Okay, so now, if you haven't seen my last few videos on Sebastian Rogers, kind of working a different angle, I always got to keep an open mind and not get tunnel vision. And it was a couple of months ago where, I was looking at this footage, and we've been so kind of, focused on green hoodie person, which I do think in this scenario, there was a handoff of something. And there was definitely, at the very least, information exchanged.
Okay. I heard somebody, it might be in this video, I'm not sure. But somebody mentioned how this green hoodie person had Sebastian's attention. Katie had to veer Sebastian away from the person, but Sebastian was watching the whole time before he got in the car. How come nobody has mentioned, see if I can get there. Okay. You can see Sebastian is fixated on what's
where,
going on.
I was looking at this footage, and we've been so kind of, focused.
All right, this guy right here is an employee of Texas Roadhouse. He's the one that runs your food out for your call-in orders and what have you. He's got the attention over here. So something's going on over here that's even got him suspicious. Who has interviewed this guy?
On green hoodie person, which I do think in this scenario, there was a handoff of something.
See, he started to go in the building, and whatever's going on over here is important enough that he stopped and watched. Now, everybody can say, oh, he's a good Samaritan. He just wanted to make sure Katie was safe. Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with that. But somebody needs to interview this kid. Somebody needs to ask him, what did he see? What was going on outside of camera shot that was so interesting to him that he did not go in and pick up the next order and carry it out? And then Yellow Jacket guy is going to talk to him. I do believe, I don't know if it's on this video, but I do believe Yellow Jacket guy gets his attention and talks to him too.
And there was definitely at the very least information exchanged. Say, hey, there's a car ready for you halfway to before you get to your home. So they can trade off Sebastian. But if you have missed it, in my opinion, let me just skip it forward here. When she gets in the car, now this little black thing that you see, that is the dash cam. That is not the rear view mirror. The rear view mirror is right here, and you can actually see when she backs up, you can actually see the rear view mirror. Obviously, it's under the... Oh, yeah. He looks... Yeah, when he first notices that, he even kind of stumbles, and she kind of like pushes him, when he's kind of by the pole or whatever.
See, this is what I was talking about, this comment right here. This Jennifer Isbell. Has anybody else noticed how Sebastian watches the interaction between Katie and Green Hoodie? That's what I was talking about. Sebastian was fixated on that. And even the employee there was interested enough in whatever was going on there.
Like he's kind of like, whoa, somebody's by her car. And she's just, it's like she knows this lady. Totally. I mean, yeah, again, I know we've kind of, and other channels have broken just the interaction with Green Hoodie. I mean, it makes no sense unless you knew this person. So I think she was handed something, possibly a burner phone with a headset. This is just one of the theories. I'm sure you could get out a couple other scenarios, but, adding into that, she put a headset in. I think she got instructions from Green Hoodie that there's a car waiting to take Sebastian.
Show your daughter how much you love her with this beautiful gift. It says, to my daughter.
And they're all set up. And then she's got maybe a burner phone that was handed to her, and then she puts up the headset, and I don't even think she needs to talk. She just needs to listen to an instruction saying, hey, it's clear. And maybe just kind of yes and no. And of course, remember, even though there's audio inside the car, the video's recording, obviously the road. So we have no idea exactly what's going on inside the car. And it could just be made to seem natural. So, moving on from that. So like I said, shout out to Silvers. He kind of pointed me in the right direction. Silvers on the scene. I may have his link in my YouTube channel. Sometimes I do, and then sometimes I clean out my description. If I don't, I'll have to make sure I put his channel in there. But definitely go check out Silvers. Amazing guy. There's been a couple of sources, and again, that I would consider credible, that claim, allegedly, of course, just rumor, that apparently there's only about 6 minutes of audio of Sebastian. Now, again, just rumor. Can't verify it. But it kind of backs up this theory of him not making it home. So, kind of interesting if you break down the drive back and where 6 minutes would land. And so, let's look at this. So here is just the road map from home, from Texas Roadhouse to the home. And it's about, again, it says about 15 minutes. I've heard it could take, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. But coincidentally, if you put in about 6 minutes, there's an intersection that you would get to. Now, obviously, there's a couple of different routes she could have gone. But interestingly enough, there's an intersection over here. I've got to see if I got the email. Oh, no. Did I close my email? I did. Let me pull up my email real quick here. While that's up. Second here. And there's two intersections where if I were to do a drop off, I would probably do it on that right yellow that we're zooming in right here. And that's kind of the street. Unfortunately, I don't think why is it always such a pain in the butt to sign in? Sorry, let me get this email. Wait, what is... Always changing things. Okay, sorry guys. I just want to make sure I get this. Okay. Let me read. I'm not going to say who this is from for now, but a decent rumor was, I'm trying to look for it. Give me a second, guys. This is a lot. Oh, maybe it's further down. Where are you? Of course. Oh, it's too far down. Oh, okay. Here we go. Apparently, allegedly, and again, this is just rumor, that at that intersection that I just showed you, so let me back that up for a second. At the intersection...
Texas Roadhouse. You could tell.
Here we go. A person at a gas station or worked at a gas station thought they believed they had seen Katie that night. Now, again, just rumor. But again, this comes from people I trust that, just wouldn't make up anything just for clicks. But again, rumor. But again, this is off Stop 30 in New Shackle Road, which, once you get to that intersection, you would... If you were just going to go straight home, you would then go up New Shackle Road up here. But
these smart zooming blue light glasses will shock you. Nobody believed me at first, but now everybody wants a pair.
There is allegedly someone that thought they believed that they saw Katie that night. Now, again, just rumor. But think about it, because obviously the video would be like this. Now, there would be audio inside the car, so maybe she's got Sebastian talking a little bit. Maybe she already told Sebastian, hey, your cousin's going to, pick you up because I have to go somewhere, something to kind of maybe, and maybe that's why Sebastian looked so, because Seth has always said, like, Sebastian didn't look like himself. And maybe she told him, hey, I'm going to have somebody pick you up, on the way back. And that's what Green Hoodie was there to kind of relay, and then maybe hand off a burner phone with an earbud to, kind of give directions like, hey, it's all clear. And she gets to one of these intersections. And then as they stop, maybe, she kicks on some tunes, and then door opens. You wouldn't know it, especially if the camera is completely, focused outside. And he goes and gets in a vehicle that he believes is, no threat. And then she continues on, and, you have audio for the first part of the trip of Sebastian. And then, now you drive home pretending like you have Sebastian with you. And then obviously when you get home, because usually if you're not familiar with these dash cams, they usually, they record like when you start up your vehicle. There's many different versions, but I think a lot of these newer ones are very high tech. Again, I'm not an expert in these, but from what I've seen a few videos, I know some of the older.
Okay, that was the part I wanted you to see. Now, this next one might be kind of much the same because it was also put out. This one was put out 2 days ago. So this might be the actual footage of the call, I'm hoping. I haven't seen this one yet. Okay, you see they all kind of start out the same way. So.
Now I got something in my throat. Margaret, my email is in the description below, and if a mod can put the email up, Nightbot should put it out as well. There, oh, no, that's the YouTube channel. But it's join the mob crew at outlook.com. But yeah, it's in the description. But yeah, welcome everybody. Today won't be... Oh, that's right, the Pig Fest. I haven't really... Yeah, that'll be kind of interesting. What day is that, Denise? I know that's very soon, right? Reading chat here. Make catch up here. Bo, love all you do for Sebastian. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bo. And thank you for 6 months. That's awesome. Teresa, good to see you. Thank you for all you do for the missing. My pleasure. Again, I couldn't do it without the support from you guys. Let me just catch up here. It does.
They had to play video games.
So let's let me take a sip here and figure out how the best way, because I didn't really have time to just make a 10-minute recap. This is basically the stuff I put yesterday. But if you missed it, we'll just kind of start at Texas Roadhouse. And I'm going to put out a short video as well here on this, hopefully by tomorrow. So we know that there's the green hoodie lady. Allegedly law enforcement cleared her after, Texas Roadhouse footage was released. Suspiciously, they had found this person just after the video came out, which is scary in its own right, because how would they have not known that this person who's loitering next to Katie's car for about 2 minutes, they're not like, it's not like they're taking, obviously she has a dash cam. Now it has audio inside the car, but obviously the video's only showing the road itself, right? But I have gotten word, allegedly, it's a rumor, which I've, that,
This is exactly how a bra for women over 50 should be. Made from 100% natural.
Let me move forward here. I do wonder if the green hoodie lady, if she is involved, if she was there to maybe hand Katie something, say a burner phone or something, and that way she's getting instructions, and then remember, she's got to head back home, and there's a couple spots here where, especially this road here, where it's kind of a a little bit back road, where then you'll come on to Stop 30, I think it's called, and then you can get on New Shackle Lane, which is right here, and then that pretty much takes you straight to Long Hollow Pike and then their neighborhood. But you could easily have, let's just say in this scenario, have somebody, parked there, and Green Hoodie was there to say, hey, it's a go. Someone's in place, that maybe, is familiar with Sebastian. And then when they, she gets to either this stop or one of these stops or just before, there's a car that pulls up to the side. Obviously, the dash cam would be just facing the road in front. She could kick on some music or whatever. And Sebastian gets transferred out. And then no one's none the wiser. You hear audio, at least of him leaving. But allegedly, rumor has it that there's only 6 minutes of audio. Again, just rumor. But, here's just an example of dash cam. So, right, you can't see inside the car at all. You can only basically see, depending on where you have it, maybe the hood at best of your car. And yeah.
You look at it, it's him running, but still.
Okay. So he took the.
And then, interestingly enough, we know, huge shout out to Silvers. He's driven through this neighborhood a couple times, I think twice at night. And I believe both times, especially in this one on the right side, is him. You'll notice, and even the neighbor that lives across the street that captured the surveillance, she mentioned that, she saw days before, where she watched Sebastian skipping around to the mailbox and stuff, that they had their porch light on. And she even made note to a creator saying, hey, it was kind of odd that the porch light wasn't on. And then here you go. The times that people drive by it, porch light is on. Coincidence? Maybe. I doubt it. But yeah, clearly the porch light wasn't on that night. And then even Seth said he doesn't think that it was his son. He couldn't tell it was Sebastian. Now, in that video, allegedly, this is just kind of, coming from, second-hand, third-hand source, but coming from Seth, is that allegedly in the video, you can see someone pulling out the trash, but obviously it's very dark, and apparently they were wearing a hoodie. Again, that's just rumor. I've even heard ball cap, but I don't know for sure. I think the hoodie is more, I would say, credible as a rumor than the ball cap. I've heard that a few times, but I'm not sure on the ball cap. But and what do you know? Katie does have a hoodie in Texas Roadhouse. So then, let's see here.
Exactly off the top of our head.
Just waiting 1 second here. But this would be kind of what it looked like. Obviously, it's not even close. But and then the person, they pull out the trash because this is where the trash can is. And then they run back. And Katie, in her interview with the PI, which is going to be released for the members and Patreons tomorrow, and then I'll probably release it Monday for everybody else. She makes note that, yeah, you could tell it's him because of his mannerisms and the way he's running back. And so obviously as a mother, you would know, hopefully you know your child's mannerisms. And so, if you're just seeing a shadowy figure and then all you see is that shadowy figure running back to the home, but you can't make him out, you could claim, oh, that's Sebastian because he's running, but clearly it could be Katie or somebody else.
Correct me.
Between 9 and 12.
All right, moving on from there.
Ever wondered what happens when legs like these almost suddenly become like this? Cases like this are practically textbook example of people.
So how does if that happened, if he was transferred, and again, we're going to get to the new stuff here in just a minute, but if he was transferred, how would the 3 a.m. lights play in? Well, keep in mind, if they did transfer Sebastian out, right? And remember, he had 3 pairs of shoes. He had a new pair of sneakers, an old pair of sneakers, and a pair of boots. So obviously, at the very least, you would need his shoes and probably that Yoda shirt to show, proof that he made it back home. And I think this is probably where they've screwed up, if this scenario it could be true, is they were so worried about the shoes being back and they put him there that having him there looks terrible because now all of his shoes are there and he allegedly wandered off barefoot in the middle of, pitch black. Sounds ridiculous. So I think to get those back, that whoever was involved, another party, extended family, whatever, would then would have to show up. Obviously, they're not going to drive right to the home because that would be on the night he went missing. So it just everything plays out the same, except the only thing is that they're going to pick up clothes from the vehicle and come back. And again, it does kind of make sense in that point. Yeah, where is the shirt? Yes, Dane. Because Seth was so busy. He said he was there 3 days, from the first day that they were searching for him, when he was at the home, that, there was so much going on. He never had a chance to really, examine the home or anything. So, yeah. But yeah, so that's how the lights kind of play into it. So the 3 a.m. and everything still, you'd have to get the clothes back. So I do like that theory.
I've heard also a footage of where somebody says it looks like Katie's carrying a sea bag over her shoulder. And I haven't seen that footage either. But if anybody has that footage, could you please email it to me so I can get it over to Mob Crew to see if you can analyze it and set it out better, because nobody really knows. And I've only seen, I think I saw it one time, but I don't think it was on the green team side. And I think it was taken down. So I don't know. But if you have it or you know who has it, please let me know and I'll look it up myself.
It is sound. Again, it's still just a theory, but we still have the unknown cars and all that. So no worries, Phil. Why turn off camera and lights around house if they drop Sebastian on the way home? Why then turn off camera and lights around house if they drop? I don't know if you're talking about inside the car, Mimi. From what I understand, they kept the recording went until they got to the home. From what I understand.
Also, if they turned off the lights on the outside of the house, if there was a camera that could still see inside the car, it would not light up the side of the car that had Sebastian in it. So you couldn't tell whether Sebastian was there or not. It wouldn't show an empty spot if Sebastian wasn't there.
I'm not sure if I understand that question 100%. If they drive special on the way home. Because you mentioned lights. Yeah, I don't know if you could elaborate, maybe I can. But anyway, like I said, we dived much deeper into it yesterday. If you want to check it out, if you missed it. But I want to kind of get into the newer stuff. But again, that's just kind of a real quick summarization. Obviously, yesterday's video had, all the, different little clips from, Katie and Chris talking and all that to kind of, add to the, this scenario of him not making it home. And then if you think about it, one last two things about this scenario as well that also kind of adds a little bit more validity to it as well is, did I pass it? Let me go back.
Correct
Sorry.
me.
This. So remember, Chris and Katie, remember, he went missing on the 25th, looking for him on the 26th. Remember, they did 2 interviews with Duchess, like day 3, day 4, something like that, somewhere around in there. And then I think they did one with Smiley. And then it wasn't until Chronicles of Olivia, nearly a month later, is when then they mention the first time Katie mentions a noise. I don't know how you go through all those times. If this would be true, this would be the last time you allegedly heard and spoke. Yeah, heard Sebastian and spoke to him. You would think that would be a big deal and something like seared into your brain. Yet no mention of that with at least 3. Of course they did the interviews with the news station, so I'm not sure how many. I know at least 5, probably even more. It's not until March 18th. The video's released on the 20th. But yeah, at least 3 weeks. Then they mention the noise. And then her, not only mention the noise, but then, I don't know what you're doing. And if you think about it with this scenario that he never made it home, here's another thing where they're trying to show proof of life that he's home, right? Because if they don't mention that, then, there's more to support he didn't make it home. But then if you add this noise, it's almost like they're trying to come up with, some details that show, oh, look, he made it home. Shoes are here. Oh, yeah, that loud noise we heard. And the last time I spoke to him and he spoke to me. So if you think about it in that sense, just another thing to kind of add in proof of life. And then the other thing, and then we'll get into the new stuff.
I put this in my ears, and I haven't asked anyone to repeat themselves in over 3 months. This is magic. I wish I...
For today is the small flashlight, which I have such a huge issue with, that they know about by day 2, within less than 48 hours. A little small keychain flashlight, they somehow know that is missing. And I think this adds more to them trying to proof of life that he made it home, right? That's just another thing. And here is Melissa Proudfoot mentioning this on day 2. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but walked out in the middle of the night with his glasses, a small flashlight, no shoes. We've been searching since 6:30 yesterday. Clearly, they're looking for him on day 1 at 6:30. So clearly that was written on day 2. So very interesting. And Mike Demand from YouTube has been breaking down every single guy. He's been breaking down so much. For those who are familiar with Mike Demand, put in a lot of work. I'm sure he'll eventually grow as a YouTuber. Another person who's really good at breaking down. I forget what's the profession that is, linguist or whatever, but he's breaking that down, and he even kind of mentioned that he thought the way that this was written was almost like it was written by Katie. And if you haven't seen that, I think I know he has a video on that. Just breaking this down. I think kind of suggesting this even could have been Katie writing this, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, that is it in a nutshell. But again, if you missed it, definitely check that out from yesterday. Let me get to chat, and then we'll get into the burner phone and all the crazy stuff that's happened in the last 24 hours. And it's just nonsense. And then, of course, I'm going to bring some receipts. Just a few. Just a little nibble, but it is not there. Okay. All right. Moving on to the nonsense of today, and then showing a couple of receipts. So remember, the last few days we've been kind of mentioning the headphone that looks like she puts in, and possibly getting a burner phone, right? Been kind of passing that again. I mean, it looks clear as day that she's putting something in her ear. The burner phone clearly is more speculative, but we've been kind of mentioning that a lot lately. And then guess what happens? Oh, one last thing. Good old fish sticks, man. It just, he never ceases to amaze me, man. This guy, holy hell. Jesus. This is what happens when you look at a book cover, you know. But remember when the quote, don't judge a book by its cover, you know, just like a thumbnail. Clearly he didn't watch. Well, I don't know. Let me know what you think in chat. So let me read this. This is from my live from yesterday. So he clearly watches me, or at the very least, this keeps an eye on me, which is kind of scary to think about. Mom Crew has now admitted to his followers. This is so great. Mom Crew has now admitted to his followers that for all this time he has deceived them. I guess I have amnesia. Did I get hit on the head during my last two lives? I don't remember telling you guys I deceived you, but damn. There were no people in the lights video. There was not a 3M vehicle that kidnapped Sebastian Rogers. There was no people moving through the neighborhood, like he told his followers over and over and over. He has now admitted he lied. Holy shit. When did I do that? Am I getting old? Like, what is that? Not amnesia, but, my ADD brain. It'll come to me in a minute. But anyway,
Alzheimer's.
You know, when you get, oh my gosh. You know, older people start to forget. The word is like there, but I just can't put it out. I'm sure. But anyway, dementia. Anyway, I guess I got dementia now. He has now admitted he lied. He made it all up. Man, when did I do that? I gotta go back and look at that. Alzheimer's. Yeah. Holy hell. Now he claims he has shocking evidence. Yeah, I mean, you got to use those kind of titles in YouTube. Welcome to the YouTube world, buddy. That Sebastian never made it home to Texas Roadhouse. If he never made it home, then everything else Mob Perubs claimed to those dumb enough to believe him wrong, because you can't kidnap someone who isn't there. Well, no, we're just kind of,
Here's why your knee pain keeps coming back, and the easiest way to fix it without pills, shots, or surgery. I'm going,
tossing around scenarios, because again, First Amendment right, and again, it's funny. It's okay for him and others to speculate and theorize, because he does it all the time. I've seen it. Yet, I guess when I do it and others do it, it's a no-no, right? You can't speculate, right? Holy shit. This is crazy. And if you happen to be a person that believes this tragedy pimp clickbait clown, then you deserve each other. Wow. Going after my followers like that, man. I just can't believe this is an adult, man. That's not adult. there's times that I've lost my temper.
Now, let me tell you, what I gather is Chris is saying this is another alleged theory. This is another alleged theory. He's not saying this is fact. He's saying this is another way to look at it. Another alleged theory, a rumor.
And I'm not proud of it. And I hate drama. I so hate drama. And again, I almost didn't want to go live on this, but I thought it was so funny because it's like, what do you guys think? Do you think he just saw my thumbnail? Which here, I'll show you the full thumbnail here. Do you think he just saw my thumbnail and then just assumed that now I am just going after the, theory that he didn't make it home and then never touched on the 3 a.m. part, right? Or do you think he actually did watch it and still just put that out? And I could see it either way. You know what I mean? And I don't know which one's worse. But my hell, man. Yeah, he's the one, but yes, of course. Yeah. Very serious bungee cord. Because I've been, again, I'm not an expert, but I've been on some searches, and every case I worked on, especially, when you're actually working on it, boots on the, just weird. So now there's mention of a burner phone. So let's listen to this while I read chat. This comes from J for Justice podcast, which is a shame because I used to follow J for Justice. Like, I've really have no quarrels. Maybe you guys feel differently. Like, I've always tried to just stay in my lane and not get into the drama or politics on different channels. And, when I was covering Gaia Betito, like, I shouted her out, like, a bunch of times, like, in my videos. It irks me because it's like, this case is really just divided, put a bad taste in people's mouth and just turn people on each other. And it's really sad, because everybody should have different views, and then if you got a theory and you feel like it's sound, but then, if you're looking at the other angle, right, then you can kind of see where maybe they put holes into your theory, and then, that helps you reorganize that theory to better solidify that. But, that it isn't looked at it like that anymore. You're on one side or the other or whatever, Anyway, it's crazy. So let's do this burner phone. I'm not going to deep dive into it. There's not much in here. But again, the timing is interesting because we were just talking about a burner phone for the last 3 days, right? And so let's see how this all started. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. Really good. Did you see a nice post about SF and the issues he's caused? Oh yeah. Trust me, Really Girl. If you're kind of newer to the channel, I'm not sure. It seemed like I've seen your name before. I didn't mean to hit you on the head. Yeah. No, it is no joke. No, yeah, definitely not joking. I'm just saying, like, because I've had a a family member. Yeah, certainly no joke, but it's just, it's just wild for him to make those accusations. Jesus.
Sebastian Rogers had only a handful of saved contacts in his phone. After he disappeared, investigators reviewed his call records and allegedly discovered an outgoing call.
Okay, notice, let me pause it and I'm going to restart it. Brenda, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting this channel. God bless you. I remember in an interview that KP was asked if she had heard Sebastian go out the window, and CP answered, "We would have heard him." Yes, DJ, yeah. I know exactly. I don't know if that was in Smiley's or... Oh, there's so many interviews from that early days. But yes, I do remember that, Polly. Yeah, it is kind of eerie how much he inserts himself. Okay, so let me back this up. And I cut a good portion of this out because I just wanted to play the main parts. She's just reading something, and I'll tell you who it came from. Again, there's not a lot to it, but so this is Jay reading something out about allegedly Seth having a burner phone, and here we go. And allegedly not even a last call. Notice the word how she uses allegedly. Just keep that in mind.
Beginning. Sebastian Rogers had only a handful of saved contacts in his phone. After he disappeared, investigators reviewed his call records and allegedly discovered an outgoing call to a burner phone. Law enforcement allegedly traced and triangulated that number to the Clarksville area.
This new scam is spreading rapidly in 2025 and emptying bank accounts in seconds.
You own a credit card?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Someone...
And Clarksville, if you don't know, that's where Seth lives. And I'll play this last part, and then I'll give my thoughts on it.
It says that Seth talked about mentioning having a burner phone. Okay? And then Nerdy asks, physical burn?
And notice she said nerdy, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, I'll mention in a minute. Yep, she mentions allegedly.
Burners or virtual burners provided through apps.
So she just said either a burner phone or a burner app, which is really just like Google Voice, or other apps where you can go, on your phone and get an app, and you can basically just get a free number, basically, which isn't. And then that way it's not tied to a name or as your cell phone would be. Now the first issue with this is a burner cell phone. The proper definition of a burner cell phone is you get a prepaid phone, you use it, and then you burn it. Not literally, or you could literally. You get rid of it. So if Seth says well, I still have a burner phone. Well, it's not technically a burner phone because you still have the damn phone. So it's not a burner phone until you've bought the prepaid, used it, and then you ditched it. That is the full definition, at least from my understanding. That's the full definition of a burner phone, is you get rid of it after. But if you still have it, I don't know if that's considered a burner phone or you just bought a second phone that just happened to be a prepaid phone, right? So that's ridiculous. Now, the Google Voice app or an extended number, now that is kind of believable. And and even texting apps. Yeah, sometimes they're just texting apps. You can get a number for, or even phone calls.
So, sounds like there's a little pressure being put on Seth and the Clarksville area due to possibly an app, maybe, like a Google Voice app or something along those lines that would give you a burner number or a physical burner.
But again, if you have the damn phone, because she mentions that earlier, saying that, he's still got this phone, allegedly. Well, if he still has a phone, it's not a burner phone until you get rid of it. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the full definition of a burner phone. Solid, a phone. You get rid of it after. But anyway, the funny thing is, they don't mention a time. Let me see. There's a little bit more to this.
They're not saying when the outgoing call was. It just says...
No way. No way. Now listen to the rest of this. I wonder why.
After he disappeared, investigators reviewed his call records and allegedly discovered an outgoing call to a burner phone.
So this is the dumbest thing ever, and I'll tell you where it really came from, and it's going to be no surprise. So they're saying that there is an outgoing call. They don't say the date. So this could literally be 6 months ago. But the fact that, she says, well, after he went missing, then they looked up his phone records. Well, obviously all his phone records could be before he went missing. So clearly you could take this way out of context and say, oh, well, at one point, maybe Seth and his son were communicating through this app because, well, maybe, his mother or Crispy was, being an a-hole about them talking to each other when, he didn't have Sebastian at that time. And so maybe this is that way he could speak with his dad without, I don't know. But again, you can definitely tell this is just, I think there's probably a shred of truth to this, but I think it's just completely taken out of context. And it is, again, it's about an hour away, Clarksville. It's to the west, kind of northwest. I'll show you on the map here. But again, keep in mind, we have no idea. So it's hour and 4 minutes away, a little over 50 miles. And it's where Seth lives, in that general area. But again, we have no date, no date and time, which I think is be pretty big. And then notice how the entire time she says allegedly, she says it multiple times, which I find funny.
At this rate, it's probably going to be more like 40.
Okay, no, way too long. Let's see how much you're spending. Download an app called Rocket Money.
Oh, wow.
But I do think there might be a thread of truth. But of course, they're just going to, they want to, take some heat off them, put some heat on Seth. And again, what does this prove, right? Because if you can't give us a date and time, how do we don't know if it's not 6 months ago, right? But you wanted to, pull that out. So where did this originally come from? How did this all get started? 'Cause it's just nonsense, right? Yeah, Seth was at work, Again, we could go over the alibis. Again, Seth's on camera at work. He's working hours away. It's so ridiculous, which means he would have to have an accomplice, right? And then this is so funny because they always, well, let me get past this next part. And then I'm going to bring some receipts as well, for something completely different.
Law enforcement allegedly traced and triangulated that number to the Clarksville
It's
area.
a little bit north.
They even showed Seth a clip.
Then we have this. This is so. See, this is where, again, I think Crispy are on a campaign, right? And it's weird, because I don't want to think like I'm something special. It's weird, I start getting better. I start covering this case again. Now, Nerdy Attic. And again, another person who I followed like a lot. And it might even been the Gabby Tito case when I first started following him. I know it was short. If it wasn't that, it was shortly after. And loved some of his posts because he had some really good inside sources. And now, so if you don't know, he went out to Henderson, Tennessee. I don't know how long he stayed out there, maybe a week or less, whatever. He, if you want, you can go to his Twitter page. He'd gotten some drone footage, showed a retention pond, wants to reinforce this stupid retention pond theory, which again, unless Sebastian can turn into a ghost, I don't know how you're getting past, at least 5 cameras that are, at least 2 to 3 of them are very good, and can capture a neighbor in the next street over, God, what, 200 to 300 feet away or more, coming out of his house, again, on another street over, who would then eventually, SF would try to play off as being Sebastian. Again, one of the most despicable things I've ever seen done. Makes me sick to my stomach. Somebody else mentioned it recently, and I was like, yes, I'm so glad other people are like saying, like, talking about what he did on the anniversary and how you just can't get any lower than that to try to pass off that, on the anniversary that we might have, Sebastian, a sighting, a legit sighting, and the entire time it's bullshit. It's just, yeah. those kind of people, Yeah, anyway, so let me read this. It was previously believed that Texas Roadhouse footage was the final known sighting of Sebastian Rogers, but it has been since confirmed that additional surveillance captured him later that evening between 6:45 and 7:15 as he took out his trash near the house. And then he goes on to say that all three parents claimed that this is that they all agreed.
Proof of life since Friday or
Insinuating
or Thursday or Friday.
So here we go,
And
right
the
here.
Clarksville area due to his call record.
even though he had.
Yeah.
So, just spoiler alert. Of course, he spoke with Crispy, right? No surprise there.
Did he tell you about that?
About what?
That his little comment, he hadn't seen proof of life since Friday or
Insinuating
Thursday or Friday when I last saw or heard from my son.
Yeah.
So you just heard that is in late March, maybe April at the latest, with Heather Cohen, Sus PI, interviewing Katie and Crispy. And what did he just say there? What did they have a problem with? That Seth was not on board with the last proof of life. Yet, here is Nerdy literally saying it was him. All three caregivers confirm. My fucking ass. Bullshit. I hate this shit. It's one thing to speculate. We all have the right to speculate, theorize. But when you start putting out stuff like that, where you're literally riling people up, trying to pass this off as fact, when literally, I just played an audio from the stink feet themselves, literally claiming, bitching about how Seth did not believe it was.
Some moms want to build income from home. They just don't want to post, pitch, or be online all the time. And that's exactly why
His son. Yet, here we go. Nerdy addict. Drinking the Kool-Aid, whatever. And I don't want to go after Nerdy addict. It just sucks, man. Because, like, again, it's another guy that I've followed, and he's had some really good stuff. It just breaks my heart. But it's clearly, anybody that gets close, literally in the vicinity of the Proud Feet, all of a sudden, I don't know what, do they get paid off or threatened or both or whatever. Now all of a sudden these people start putting out these weird narratives and literally trying to pass them off as, facts. I make mistakes all the time. I was brought up, to, show humility, right? I have no issue, I don't need to be the person that has to be who, I agree with a lot of people in the
Oh, this is where everything needs to come out.
He already knew that there was proof of life.
He knew there was proof of life prior to that. He started some shit. It caused the fuck.
Okay. All right. And then there's this one. One more. From Nerdy. And then we'll get into my
He started
receipts.
some shit. It caused the fuck.
Then he puts out another statement. Not sure how relevant this is, but it's confirmed that Sebastian Rogers sometimes hid beneath a neighbor's vehicle when playing flashlight tag. And then he goes on, I think, or agrees with somebody saying that he had kids that he was playing with, if I recall. Yeah, right here. Someone asked, did he have any friends? Look at that. I cannot believe he actually went the mile to say that. I think the part where he liked to hit by cars, I think that part could be true. But from what I understand, yes, there is some kids and teenagers in that neighborhood. Not a lot. Most of that neighborhood, it's not a big neighborhood. Now you have that adjacent neighborhood that, with the construction site. But obviously that hadn't been built before he went missing. So again, I think it's so funny. But let's go to the receipts. You guys ready? again, I wish I could do more, and maybe we will. I have to kind of like be very careful because I can't burn my my sources. But I am going to show you guys something. But yeah, that's the school bus flying up Kellen. Now, I think it just goes up and does a U-turn so it can stop right on Stafford and Kellen. And then that's where the kids are supposed to, that's the stop, right? It's not stopping at each home. But yeah. All right. Yeah, see, I think so. That's where I think part of it's true, and then they're trying to twist it like he was playing, and then they want to add in this flashlight tag, and but I have not heard anything, about any teenagers that knew Sebastian playing it. Again, I don't know everything, but yeah. Got the one running back done. It will be sent to you and FBI as well. Ooh, okay. Awesome. Thank you. All right, guys. I am bringing some receipts for you. Hey, we got Bullhorn. Good to see you, Bullhorn. Hope you're doing well. When is Pigfest, Bullhorn? Again, it's something I haven't really balled on that angle, but kind of curious. All right, guys. So here, because this is why it's just like all this nonsense. Clearly, nerdy getting information, and they're putting all these stupid narratives out, and I do think it's they're doing that to have us waste our time to 10 to 23. Oh, okay, so towards the end of the month. Thank you. Yeah, and I agree, and I don't want to get fucking
throw it as hard as you want. Go on. Watching it zip away feels like it might just keep going, right? Nope, here it comes. This thing's a total game changer. Throw it across the park, over the drive.
Sorry. I don't want to get distracted and have to sit there and debunk. So, oh, here comes the thunder. Storm's coming. All right. So we're getting towards the end. So here is, and again, maybe another day I'll pull out my phone and I'll show the photos that are on my phone, but I have to, again, my contact, I cannot burn this contact. So what you're seeing here is a picture from last year. Okay. Obviously it's in portrait mode. This person's taking it, a portrait mode. Now, let me show you the next photo. And no, this is not Google Maps. And you'll see in the next picture, you can tell much better. Because I know there's going to be people on the other side. Oh, he's just showing crop photos of, Google Maps, right? All right. I don't know if you guys can hear that thunder. Oops, I went a little too far. Come on. Any second. Here we go. So let me pause it here. I had to be very careful how I showed this picture because it kind of shows some stuff. All right. So this was last year. For those who've been following this case with me, I told you guys that I've had multiple people out there spoken to this homeowner. I told you guys that. I told you guys that I would be able to back this up, when the time comes. But of course, these specific contacts, I have to be, I can't burn them until, yeah. Oh, you quit smoking as well? Oh my God, it's so hard. Whew. Man, that first week, even now I still have, but I'm getting my smells pretty much back. My taste buds are starting to come back. Those take a while, but that's awesome. Good for you. Boy, it's not easy. Coffee did it for me. Would they play flashlight tag at 3 a.m. on a school night? Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous. And remember his thing. But anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but thank you, Paulie, so much for the $4.99. But yeah, great point. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous, right? Okay. This is my source, one of my sources, there with the homeowner. Now, he's standing in a specific position for a specific reason. Actually, multiple reasons. 3 of them, to be in fact. So just for anybody, because I know there's going to be those naysayers on the other side going, oh, that's just him from Google Earth, Google Maps. Here is Google Maps. Remember, the car, it comes from the road, right? I cannot back this up anymore. I cannot. The Google man isn't, standing right here next to the mailbox, right? And, there's 3 dates, same thing. He is on this side of the road, so he is kind of close. But again, this isn't Google Earth, Google Maps. And keep in mind, this is 1 year before he went missing. Notice this tree. Notice the growth on it, how these are kind of just been planted. Now look at mine. Notice they've grown almost like it's been a year. Okay, so there's a reason for this. This is my contact speaking with the homeowner right then and there, taking multiple photos. I've got more, but I've just got, I think, 4 to share with you. I have to kind of edit. This was kind of last minute. There's 3 things that he's pointing out here because he's got the homeowner talking to him to the left. He's telling him, 1, it looked like the car was almost straight across from the mailbox. The mailbox would be right to our right, right? So if we look to we went back here, him and the homeowner are standing right here to the left of the mailbox and looking this way. Why are they looking this way? Well, now they couldn't stand in the driveway because they had multiple vehicles, so that'd be in the way. But this is, now obviously this is not the exact angle of the camera, but this is the direction. He wanted to emphasize this is kind of what's in the camera. This isn't exact, but just kind of rough. The third, and just about almost the main thing, as he said, the vehicle was parked almost right in front of this first tree. Keep that in mind, it's huge. He said it was parked almost right in front of this first tree. Because I think there's actually 3 of them, but this first one here, that is now...
And we're sure this is shocking for many of you that are just hearing the news and tuning in.
Here, obviously, it's just barely starting to grow. Now, of course, if you remember, we have the white truck that was parked right here. Remember, we have the Camaro. Not the Camaro, I'm sorry. I always want to say Camaro. The Dodge. We have that white truck. And guess what? If we were to just be parallel to that white truck that's sitting right here, well, I'll be damned. There's that tree. Anyway, he wanted to emphasize this tree. Continuing on. And I've got more. And I have this phone, and I will keep it until this case gets solved. And I will I will just record from another phone, my phone, and all the chats. And I told you guys, I've had contacts that have spoken literally with this homeowner. And he said it was something just like that. Of course, I'm just overlaying the vehicle from the 3 a.m. off killing. But yeah, it was something just like that. And I've got one more photo to show you. Because I'm so sick of this just, nonsense that they're putting out. And so take a look, and then just in case for the naysayers, obviously, if you followed this case, this all looks familiar. Keep an eye on this concrete. This guy's got a kind of a unique driveway, right? And I kind of zoom in on it. Sorry, it's starting to rain really loud outside. That's probably perfect timing because I'm trying to finish up. But like I said, bringing the receipts here. Notice his driveway. It's very unique, and we'll look at Google Earth so we can compare. Because I want that. I know some of those other people are watching, and I want them to know. I know stuff. I've said it all along. I don't know everything. Far from it. But I know quite a bit. Here's another photo just to definitely tell you that this is not from no Google Earth. As you can see, he's literally standing in the driveway. You can see his driveway here. You know, it's definitely got, you know, a unique pavement. Compared to the street here. So clearly they are standing right next to the mailbox in the driveway. And then the final photo, does that cement look familiar? Bueller? Anybody recognize where this photo's coming from? Does this driveway look familiar? Cement. That is my inside source, one of them. And that is, I'm 90% sure. I don't want to say 100% because I know some people are coming and going, but I know he was with the guy for quite a bit. And again, this is the guy that, you know, like I told you guys, he told him, and this didn't even happen once. This happened twice with two different, like, yeah, I don't want to get too specific until the day comes, but this isn't a one-time thing. This happened a couple times, guys, and there's even more stuff that, again, I just cannot mention because it would not be good because I know those people are watching. But as you can see, there's the grass. And again, this is August, September-ish. This is before fish sticks came along. But yeah, I'm like 90% sure that's the homeowner right there, right? And you can tell that's the driveway. They're standing where usually that Dodge is, right? They're literally standing. You can see the crack right here, and you can see the grass with the, you know, sidewalk going up. Literally standing right there. He is getting all the info, and I had to blur this out for a couple of reasons. That's a device that, you know, when things happen, I'll you know, everything will be unedited. But like I said, I told you guys I would back up the things that I can back up. I will back up. And again, this homeowner, his own words, said the car looked like it was parked literally right in front of the bush, straight across, not quite straight across, but kind of kitty corner from his mailbox. That's why they were standing next to the mailbox. The camera is faced towards the common area, right? That's why that photo, you know, the panoramic photo, that's why the one panoramic photo I do have, that's the reason for it, is to kind of give you an idea of the camera, because he had the homeowner standing there right there going like, yep, that's kind of, you know, a rough estimate of where, you know, where it's centered on. He told him, yes, I can see the guy, somebody, now I don't want to say guy, but he says, I can see the figure running and jumping the ditch. And again, all this is on my phone. Oh, shoot. Oh, God. How do I do that without running my con? Ah! No, maybe I better not do that right now. Yeah, maybe if I hold it like that. God damn it. Oh. Yeah, so there's my phone, but yeah, okay, that's good. Anyway, oh, where's the camera? Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see that well. Anyway, guys, you guys, oh, good. Contact almost came up. Anyway, woo! Timed that just right. Anyway, like I said, but that's just one of many visits. Not many, but one of a couple of visits to the homeowner again. And please, no one go bother the homeowner. Again, this was all last year. I never even asked for any of, this. This is when I put out the 3M and everybody and their dog was contacting me and wanting to help me. And I got a couple of inside sources. And again, they went and they were doing some stuff for me. And then the homeowner was just outside working on his boat. They got to chatting. The guy's super nice. And then, yeah, I explained everything that he could see, and everything that we've talked about is in it. The car shows up. It sits there for, I don't know if he mentioned the exact timing, but the car pulls up without its lights, sits there for a bit.
Okay. There's only 15 more minutes left. You can go watch it if you want to. That's from Mob Crew. He does wonderful. He's got a whole playlist on the Sebastian Rogers case and a lot of videos about the light. So, with that being said, what's your theory? Do you think Sebastian Rogers made it home? Or do you think that, like the rumor says, maybe he was dropped off because there's only 6 minutes of a 15-minute drive with Sebastian being heard in the car? Now, I haven't heard the whole video yet, but, maybe Monday. So, I don't know. But I will see you tomorrow. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Hopefully, my next video will not be 3 hours long. But I appreciate you being here and supporting the channel. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out. Do something nice for someone, even if it's be the reason that they smile. And search for Christ.